Ryan's here.
I'm here.
You are. You are.
Am I queer?
How are you?
Are you used to it?
I'm. You are queer. You are here, and boy, am I used to it. I can't get enough of it, Ryan.
I know, you're fucking sick. You
Um,
need help.
Ryan, hey, I need help. Yeah. Ryan O'Connell, welcome to the Homo Sapiens hot seat, where you're going to be co-hosting with me. We are very, very delighted to have you.
I'm really delighted to be here. Here's the deal. I call it my LA period, where 1 week a month I feel the sudden urge to start a podcast. And then I
Yeah.
realize I'm already disabled, so I can't have a second disability. And so I think this is really scratching the itch of me wanting to podcast without actually me having to do anything.
So is podcasting still like the thing that everyone's setting up, or is that died off? I'm out the loop.
I feel like podcasts are like kind of dead. I love opening that way on this podcast. It's really like setting us up to win in a really powerful way. Yeah, like I think it's kind of over.
But we're ahead of the curve. We've been around for ages. It's fine.
Well, yeah,
You're still around.
you're grandfathered in, not to age you. Like I would never call you a grandfather, but this podcast is grandfathered in.
I'm not far off. And okay, but I'm going to do a proper introduction to you in a second. But I just want to say, if you had to start a podcast tomorrow, what's the title and what's it about?
Oh my God. I would probably say something really stupid like holding space. Or what about just like anyways? Do you know what I mean? Not like not like I've thought about this at all, Chris, at all. Not like this is top of mind or anything like that. How about the world's first podcast?
Yes, great.
Right?
I mean,
or maybe the world's last podcast.
Yes, perfect. I think that's listen, every different co-host has got different flavors, and maybe that's going to be your flavor. We can be the world's last gay podcast, because actually that's quite interesting because but before that, I just want to do a little bit of an intro, because Ryan came on the show how many years ago, when you had written Just by Looking at Him, which still sits on my shelf.
Was that the first time? I can't remember.
It still sits on my shelf.
Look at my gay horse smut.
Your brilliant book. But since then, since you came on, you starred in the American reboot of Queer as Folk. No?
Yeah. Seen by 5s and 10s of gay people.
Was it not a hit?
I would say it was deeply not a hit.
Interesting. Okay, we'll come to that as well. So podcasts out, TV out. And actually, no, the first time you came on was to talk about your show Special, which I loved, and that's how we first ever connected. And so you've been around the Homo Sapiens block a lot. And everyone has always loved when you've come on. Special in particular, people adored. So I know how much listeners loved you and it. So it's very lovely to have you.
Thank you. It's a miracle we got it made, because now in Hollywood, it's Tim Allen's world, and we're just living in it again. So it's like, it really feels like Special feels like an artifact from a very foreign time, even though it was on the air like 4 years ago. Because everything's giving like, it's giving red state.
Yeah. I know, it's so odd, isn't it? Because I wanted to ask you about that, because when I said the last podcast, it's like, is it true? Because people are saying that whole moment that is defined as woke, which was actually just like there's someone other than John Candy, it was considered a movement, and now it's considered that movement is over. And when you say Tim Allen, do you mean like just vanilla kindness, or has Tim done something awful?
Well, Tim Allen actually has a new show out called Shifting Gears. I wouldn't say that the gears have been shifted so much, have just turned back. But I mean, I feel like the vibe in Hollywood is that everyone deeply resented having to care about marginalized people.
Mm.
And so they were doing it for optics, basically, and now they can go back to just having like Republicans and straight white men in power, and they like love that. That makes them feel absolutely slay.
Yes.
So there's a sort of regression happening, but it's so funny because it's all cyclical. It's a town that runs on vibes. Nobody's
Mm.
charge. Like nobody knows what's going on. And I actually find a lot of freedom in that of just like being like, we're all LOL making it up as we go along. So the
Yes.
pendulum, honey, the pendulum will swing as it often does. And I'm just riding the wave, the red wave.
And
Surf's up,
and
Rick! Surf's up.
so okay, so you what are you writing at the moment? What are you working on? Are you working on 3 episodes of a really deep South set cowboy drama?
Yeah, totally. I just actually sold this new show. It's called Gay Guy Having Feelings in His Studio Apartment. It got a straight to series order, actually. They just said they can't get enough and they want more of that right now. No, I mean, here's the thing. I've been very lucky. I've been living this like very rarefied and privileged existence of getting paid lots of money to write things that never get made. So it's sort of like it is like vaguely existential because you look at your tax returns and you're like, okay, I did that, go off, and then you're like, but wait, da da da, like what am I actually doing? But I have my new book of essays coming out in May, and
Great.
I'm going to be doing a play that I wrote and I'm going to star in New York, starting probably in June. That's directed by Sam Pinkleton, who directed O'Mary. Here's the deal.
Oh, cool.
Here's the deal. I zoomed out and I was like, okay, Tim Allen's taking the reins. I need
Yeah.
to treat Hollywood like an ATM and do
Mm.
work, obviously, that I care about. I will always do a good job, but like, I'm not going to go to Hollywood right now to tell deeply personal stories because they're just not interested and they're not going to buy it. So I'm going to do things that I love that are very fun. But in terms of like the gay guy having feelings in his studio apartment, I'm going to have to outsource to like publishing and the theater to like get that itch scratched. And
That's
I feel really lucky that I'm able to do that at all. Like I feel like I've just been able to kind of do it in a way that I feel very creatively satiated, and I'm not
mm.
my bank account isn't crying. So I feel yeah. But it's like you have to kind of like figure it out. Like it's like a mission impossible feat of precision and skill, like having to do all these different things. Um,
Yes.
but I think so far I've done it. So fingers crossed.
You will absolutely, you'll thrive. I know it. But I think so. For anyone who doesn't know, so Special was basically autobiographical. It had autobiographical elements, right?
Yeah.
It's about a young guy with cerebral palsy who's queer, navigating life, etc. And that feels like an example of what we're talking about. Of like everyone was interested in those super personal stories, and then you talk about Queer as Folk, and it didn't do very well. Like, why did that not do very well? Because I don't know. Was the original one a big thing in the US, or did they make an American one? I should know that.
Yeah, I mean, I could like enroll in Sarah Lawrence and write a thesis as to why it wasn't a hit.
What's Sarah Lawrence?
Sarah Lawrence is a liberal arts college. Oh my god, I forget we're on British time. I'm on British time. Oh my god, look at me with my American references fucking shit up. It's a liberal arts college. I mean,
I'm making a mental note because I want to talk about O'Mary as well.
I think Queer as Folk was really, really tricky IP, not to speak in buzzwords. I think that it didn't feature any of the other characters from the original, which I think people were resentful of. I don't know. It was a very like big, bold, noisy show,
Yeah.
and it was on Peacock, which wasn't exactly like the number one gay streaming service on earth. But I'm really proud of the work that we did, and I'm surprised we were able to do it. Again, it feels like it came out like 3 years ago, but it feels like again like the Wild Wild West, a completely different time. Maybe we're responsible for Hollywood becoming more conservative single-handedly.
Should we talk about hookups?
Yeah, okay. So
You're really funny on Instagram about hookup stuff
being a
and
whore, yeah, I've made it.
being a whore.
I've been pretty bored forward the last few years, probably to my detriment. But I've been going on a little come spring. I've been on a little sexual walkabout, and
Okay.
that's sort of what my play is about. It's called Inspiration Porn. It might be changing titles actually, because that's the name of my book of essays. But
Mhm.
basically, the play kind of came from this place of I was keeping a record of all the men that I was sleeping with and these experiences, and I thought it would actually make a very good play because it's very contained. It's in the bedroom.
Love
Um,
it.
yeah, I mean, sex has always been my muse. Even when I wasn't having it and was celibate and didn't have a dick in my ass for literally a decade, I was so obsessed with it because it felt like this sort of like mythic Xanadu world that I did not have access to, but I heard about from my hotter friends who were in the mix, and
Yeah.
I just like yearned to be invited to the orgy. And so yeah, once I started having sex and feeling deserving of a dick in my ass, it was really interesting. It was like an anthropological dig of like how people present themselves during sex, what they choose to perform, what they choose not to perform. I was like endlessly fascinated by it. And it was so funny because I mourned not being a slut all throughout my 20s. And then I really
Mm.
realized that, like, I started being a slut at 35. My clay has dried. And I feel like it allowed me to just come as myself. I was sober. Like, I feel like my experiences in my mid 30s sleeping around are so much more positive than they would have been at 25. At 25, I would have done literally anyone or anything. I would have had no
Yeah.
boundaries. I would have been probably wasted. And it probably would have given being a slut this negative connotation it quite frankly didn't deserve. And I actually think that's true for a lot of people. I think that their most promiscuous periods can often coincide with a period of insecurity or self loathing. And so it's been really nice to be a slut during a time where I bravely like myself, you know?
Yes. That's really interesting. The two are associated highly, aren't they, in the same breath, you know? And uh, it when you spoke about kind of like a mythical, an enchantment with the idea of sex and not having it, and then when it started to happen, was it what you thought it was going to be?
I mean, it was more magical and more tragical than I could have ever imagined. I mean, I think it depends
Yeah,
on the hookup itself. I think like
yeah,
uh I feel like the quote unquote bad hookups I've had, it's not like anything terrible happens, although sometimes there's been some strange experiences. It's more about, to me, how dispassionate it is. I write in my book, like,
mm,
sometimes when people are fucking me, I feel like they're disassociated and I'm getting like a sad diffusion line of the self. I'm getting like their existence for Target or Marshalls or whatever the
yeah.
British equivalent is for your British viewers. Um, and
Asda.
so it's like that to me is like the ones that kind of feel like nothing are the most shocking because we're doing an act that is so intimate.
Yes.
But when you're coming into it already disconnected, it's amazing how much it can feel like nothing. I think that is the most shocking thing that I experience.
Oh, I completely agree. I think I have been in situations where it's like you're with someone and you're like, you're actually just having a wank. Like I am not really here.
Right.
And
The whole,
and I
which can be
yeah, and I
which can be fun if that's the vibe. I mean, like dehumanizing is great if both people know their lines and know that they're playing a part. Do you know what I mean? But like
yeah,
when they're not registering you as a person and you can see that, it can feel pretty teeny tiny.
I think it has to come with some, for me anyway, like it has to come with some kind of wink and a nudge of an acknowledgement of that's the thing we're doing. You know what I mean? Like it's
Role playing,
all
essentially. Dynamics, power dynamics. Yeah.
exactly, but there is, it has to be some kind of tacit. I don't know how, it's sometimes it's quite intangible when it's happening, but that is what is happening. And it's so how do you because you can't police is the wrong word, but you can't account for that happening. Like how do you what happens, what do you do when that happens?
Well, I feel like now because I've been out in these streets for so long, I feel like I actually have a pretty good sense of what someone's going to be like. Okay, so what's really revolutionized my life is voice memos. So on Grindr, you can send voice memos. And to
Right.
me, you get such an immediate sense of who someone is based on how they talk. And before, anyone can be funny or put together a good response, like via text or whatever. I think having
Mm.
back and forth in voice memos, I get such a clear sense of who this person is. And ever since I started transitioning to voice memos, which by the way, some people are like, voice memos are intense. And I'm like, honey, grow up, get therapy. Like I'm 5150ing you. Like it's like it's
Yeah.
not that deep. It also like to me, if someone can't handle a voice memo, it really speaks to where they're at in life, and it's like XOXO.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like once I've started doing the voice memos, I swear to you, I know it sounds like silly, but like it's really like my batting average is
Yeah.
pretty chef's kiss.
But also, I think that there is an element of all of us on those apps where you project into a message the thing that you want, and I think a voice memo makes a lot of that evaporate.
Beyond, I mean, I could never. I'm like I could never pretend. I'm not. I'm very much myself, for better or for worse, all the time. So even that kind of posturing in sex, I don't understand, and I couldn't even do if I tried.
Yeah.
I have to like bravely come as who I am all the time, even when I don't want to. So I feel like when I find someone who's very much like, I think the thing I'm most attracted to, no matter what, is when someone is very much themselves, even when they could stand to be a little bit like someone else. You know what I mean? Even when like their personality is a little eccentric, a little quirky, they could little sand down the edges a little bit. I actually find that to be so refreshing because, especially living in LA, where I feel like I live in a city that is a full of bottomless pits of need. It's like everyone's stuck in this waiting room waiting for their name to be called to become the person they came here to be. So when I find
Yeah.
someone that doesn't subscribe to that and is just very, very confident in what they say and what they believe and how they act, it's like immediate hard on for me. It's like, because also,
Yeah.
what an amazing way to start sex. What a nice little sneak preview of what's to come. If someone's insecure, then I mean, look, people have presented different ways outside of sex, and then in sex I have been surprised, like, so like for example, I've been with people that feel a little distant, a little aloof, and then in sex they are incredibly present and caring and tender, and you're like, wow, like I wonder why you didn't bring any of that attitude outside the bedroom. But I think by and large, I think it's a good predictor of what in the bedroom will be like. So if someone is like neurotic or insecure, to me, I don't know. It doesn't entice
Mm.
me to go to the next level, even though I understand.
And yeah, I know what you mean though. You can't really hide behind anything in some ways. And what's your favorite? What kind of hookup are you? Are you like somebody who wants to hang around and talk afterwards? Do you want to
Oh,
cuddle?
okay. Well, yeah, babe. I like a little skintimacy. I do. Okay, okay. So when I first started out, I was very sexually porous. I was just saying yes to the address. Like, you know what I mean? Like I was just happy to be there. Like, do you know what I mean? Like good, bad, honey. It was all information. Then when I was at it long enough, I started to really understand what it was that I liked and I didn't like. And I'm not a bathhouse girl, sub with love. I was like, I love this. Gay people have been doing this forever. Like, this is an our D and gay, absolutely slay, historical moment of whatever, but like, not for me. Okay. And I'm also not like a sniffies girl where it's kind of like ass up, door unlocked, whatever. Again, love that, but it's just not for me. I need
Yeah.
to like talk to someone before, question mark, question mark, question mark. I need to like get to know who they are as a person. I mean, this is really radical, I know. And it doesn't have to
Yeah.
be a lot because I can actually get a really good sense of someone very quickly. So I'm not saying that I need like 4 hours of their time and their social security number, but I do need like a little something. It also makes me more turned on to get to know them. I would never ever label myself because I'm not a fucking nerd, Chris. But if I had
Okay.
to, I would. Well, someone told me about being a demisexual, where it's like you just need to have an emotional connection in order to fuck someone, and I kind of relate to being a little demi. I do.
I think that's lovely. I think that's really lovely, and I can relate. And it's so we asked listeners, what's your hookup vibe? Stay and cuddle or straight out that door. 62% of you said stay and cuddle.
That's
Proud of you.
cute. That's cute.
Yeah.
I mean,
And then
it kind of depends on the hookup, I think. I sometimes, yeah, if you have the time, it's great. It's great. Sometimes you're a girl on the go. Sometimes you're a girl boss CEO. Sometimes, you know,
so
sometimes you're guest hosting a podcast with British. You know what I mean?
exactly. I could see a guy who just stepped out the door behind. I didn't want to ask. So
Yeah.
who is
I thought you would have
Mel?
done that, but thank you. Thank you. No, you know what? You're not calling me out, you're calling me in. Thank you.
Is Are you a hoster or do you like to go to other people's?
I like to go to other people's. I just like seeing what people's apartments and houses look like, even though sometimes it can get like a little barbarian. Um,
Mm,
like I had a really I actually talked about this on Instagram. I had a really, really good hookup when I was in New York this summer. It was from
mm,
this artist who had incredible taste. His style was amazing. Just everything about him was sort of correct. I was really into him. And he invited me over his apartment and I knew it was gonna be a banger because artists just have the best taste. Like everything they do is with intention. They're like a slut for aesthetics. And sure enough,
yeah,
like every corner of his apartment told a story. Like it was just like so interesting. You could really get lost in it. So we
yeah,
hook up, and then afterwards, he's like, "Do you want to shower?" Now, here's the deal. I've seen some showers in my day. There was a shower in New York where the washer and dryer was in the shower. So I just showered next to the washer and dryer. I was like literally like making myself so small. Talk about not taking up space. Um, so and then like sometimes like you have like 3-in-1 body wash, which I don't think anything should be 3-in-1. I don't think one thing should be able to do three things. Personally, that's my belief. Okay.
okay.
Separation of church and state. Okay. It's like going to a restaurant that serves like both Chinese food and pizza. Like, you know what I mean? Like one of these things that's not like
Fusion.
the other.
No, it's a no.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
fusion
like,
food.
honey, do one thing really well. Okay. I don't need a jack of all trades. And so, so this guy was like, "Do you want to shower?" And I was like, "You know what? I bet his shower is kind of mage and he has like really nice bath products and I think it's going to be mage." And so, sure enough, first of all, he has Aesop. So we're already cooking with gas. Okay. We're already
Yeah,
like so far above what I've been dealt in the past. Like, I'm like, okay, Aesop, I wasn't going to wash my hair. And now let's fucking go. And
yeah, yeah.
then he has his bar soap. I'm a soap slut. I love bar soap. Liquid soap does not get the job done for me. Okay. I need to get in.
Yeah,
What do you mean?
quite hard to come by in America compared to the UK.
What do you mean?
I find it's quite hard to find bar soap in America.
I think you're just not looking hard enough, Chris.
Really? I had to go to like the organic aisle.
I think you see what you want to see.
Anyway, I've interrupted the big
No,
moment.
I mean, so basically, he had this like kind of like patchouli charcoal soap, which I didn't even know existed until it was on my body. And
Yeah.
it smelled incredible. And, he sent me the link for the soap afterwards, which is called Aftercare. Okay. It's called Aftercare. These are slut terms. Um, and so I went on Instagram to recommend the soap. I have to say, my followers like turned out in droves. Now, the woman who makes the soap doesn't care if I live or die, and I love that for her. She is boundaried. She really doesn't need to acknowledge me, which I love.
Yeah.
But I really I really influenced that day, and I'm really glad that everyone bought my slut whore bar soap.
Have you got some of the soap at home?
Of course I do. It smells amazing.
Right. What's it called?
It's called, I'm going to butcher the name. It's called Saipua. It's like Saipua. It's made by a woman who lives upstate, of course. I mean, I think that if you're a woman who lives upstate, you have to make bar soap by law. Otherwise, they kick you out. And it's amazing. And I hope one day she manages to slide in my DMs. But
She's
if not, again, totally her journey. You know what I mean?
Well, okay, so then we'll put a link to it in the show notes, everybody. And if you want to try it, it might be some international shipping going on there, but
It will be. It's giving international for sure. But if you're rich, which I assume all your listeners are,
Well, it's very many ways to be rich, but rent in England is not cheap, so that's where most of it's going. Funny hookup stories. This goes back to the days of gaydar. Been chatting to a very cute bloke for a long time. After lots of sexy talk, sexy to and fro, I end up going to his place in South London. South London, Ryan, is where you didn't go when you came to London.
Wait, where
Took me.
is it? Tell me. I want neighbors because I was a Hackney girl. I was in
You were east.
Okay, okay.
South is more grown up. I mean, it's a bit different these days, but there's not many gay bars. I end up going to his place in South London. It's where I grew up, though. Took me more than an hour to get there. A couple of drinks. We start snogging. So snogging is kissing, right? Clothes come off, and then out of nowhere he asks, "Can I please wrap you in cling film?" It's not like he didn't have plenty of opportunity to throw that at me before. It felt weird for him not to have mentioned his kink earlier, and that kind of killed the mood. So I just got dressed and left in the middle of the night, in the middle of nowhere in South London, pre-Uber and on a budget. 2 night buses later, I was back home in Tottenham near Hackney. For you, Ryan. So have you had any kink experiences? Because I think you got to get them out there on the messaging.
Well, first of all, if this person lived Hackney adjacent and this person was in the bougie, like Notting Hill rich part, they would never have worked. Okay? If movies have taught us anything, it's if you're on opposite sides of the tracks, it doesn't work. Okay?
Yes.
Second of all, wait, so this person asked what clay? Did you say clay film? I didn't hear that properly.
Oh, cling film, which is saran wrap. That was the one word I didn't translate.
Oh my god! Wait! That's actually scary because you can literally suffocate from saran wrap.
Yeah. So first things first, you need a safe word.
I would be worried that I was going to get murdered. If someone literally said, "Can I wrap you in saran wrap as part of my kink?" I'd be like, "You want me dead." That's where my brain would go. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I know. Just to be clear, no kink shaming, but I think you've got to say that stuff before.
Yeah, I don't know though. It's like sometimes people feel really shy. I mean, sometimes people need to feel warmed up. I think it needs to be all about the delivery. I think it needs to be a gentle reveal, no pressure. This is a thing I like. If you don't like it, NBD, we can do other things. You know what I mean? Because I don't mind that someone didn't lead with "I want to be wrapped in saran wrap" or "I want to wrap you in saran wrap" because that might cause a lot of skid marks on the driveway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I understand, but I think it's all about the deliver.
But also it's like you've got to be like, we're going to decide together what we do, not you're just going to be here for this thing I like. I suppose it's that, and we can do other things.
Exactly. It's
Sarah,
it's a dialogue, not a monologue.
It's a dialogue, not a monologue. Now, speaking of saran wrap, here we go. I've got another one for you.
By the way, Chris, that was you that wrote that, right?
It was me. I've been writing messages on my own Instagram.
Because you like to get wrapped in saran wrap, and this is your way of coming out to the audience about your kink.
Okay, Ryan, you think you've had some bad shower stories. The best and most secretive hookup story I have was something completely out of my comfort zone, and I was feeling adventurous. His Grindr profile was a bit unusual. It featured a bucket of gunge. Something I would have ignored, but he messaged me and he had a very convincing way with his language. It was a game. Play the strip card game and lose an item of clothes one by one. Whoever is naked first loses and gets gunged with custard in the hotel room shower. Win or lose, we fool around afterwards after a shower. I lost, yet I also have won. The next day, he loved the rising tension of the game. It was a laugh. Haven't mentioned this to anyone before. Ha. He's a lovely guy. We meet up every couple of years in his city. I think that's sweet.
Okay, what does gunged mean? Is that British again?
Sorry. Gunge is like green slime, like that they put in a bucket on like game shows and pour over people.
Oh, okay.
And then what do you call custard?
Custard.
Okay, fine. Yeah, so they... Custard. But I feel like that's quite cute that they just have this thing that he'd never even considered, but just did, and it was fun.
That's adorable. I mean, I think with the right person and feeling safe and comfortable, I feel very open to all kinds of things. It really is just about feeling secure to explore. You know what I mean? And also like I like the idea of doing something that doesn't inherently turn you on, but turns the other person on, and that turning them on is also very hot. So again, you just kind of it's improv. It's yes and. It's
Oh, I forgot
it's
about yeah.
spongy custard, whatever the fuck British do, like whatever, like sure. You know what I mean?
Have you had any kind of experiences like that where you're like, I'm not into it, but I'll go there?
I feel like I must have, but I actually don't. Nothing completely jarring. There's been no one wanting to slime me in the face, which makes me think about what I've done in my life to not invite that, and the choices I've made.
But do you know what I also think comes up a lot in like hookup culture in terms of talking to friends, and I experienced bits of this is like, and I'm interested because it sounds like you're with your voice note thing, you're kind of perhaps doing some pre-pruning, but like I did encounter a lot of like homophobia that would come out during sex. You know,
Oh,
like that.
interesting.
You,
No,
you,
I
you
don't.
know, you don't have that.
I don't have that. But do you miss hooking up? Like, what's your deal? Are you just castrated because you have kids and a husband? Like, what's your deal? Where's your penis?
I so
Show the
me and my
viewers.
husband.
Show the viewers. You got the
This is why.
best visual medium, Chris.
This is why we did it. Right, we're going in. I want no shame ever. William and I are both very like not hookup-y,
Yeah.
and we have talked in our marriage about it in the sense that I think the whole thing is an evolution, and I really don't want a heteronormative marriage. And I'm like, at this point in time, that can be what you want. And the first person, if you feel that you want to change that, I just want the first person you talk to about that be me. Like,
Mhm.
let's, and it affects you. I, you know, I genuinely just cannot be bothered. And, and I've thought properly about, is it because I'm being heteronormative, or is it because I'm, uh, you know, there's some shame there? And it's like, I've had therapy for 15 years. Like, I've recently had to stop because I've just had enough of talking about myself, and it's literally my favorite topic. It's like, I don't think there's anything there. It's just not my vibe. I find it like quite full on to keep on top of, and I never liked dating.
No, the culture around hooking up becomes a full-time job if
Mm.
you're approaching it that way. I guess my question to you is, well, first of all, you're a busy mom, balancing a career and the kids, just trying to How Does She Do It by Sarah Jessica Parker / Chris. Um, so that's part of it. I'm sure you're exhausted. What I want to ask you is like, forget about pursuing hookups, grinder, whatever. You're a creative person, you're working on new TV shows, you're doing this, you're doing that, which means that you're meeting new people in a way that people in other fields are not. Their worlds get smaller as they get older. And I think what I like
Yeah,
about writing and whatever is that I truly meet new people all the time. And I actually make close friends
yeah.
all the time. And so, do you ever encounter in your life as you embark on, going on location, hashtag on set, hashtag DGA? Um, do you ever feel like you're meeting a new person and there's an energy and there's a spark and you feel like you're in a
Absolutely.
bottle episode like Lena Dunham and Patrick Wilson, One Man's Trash? Like, what's happening?
Absolutely. As my therapist said to me, you're married, not dead. And it's like, yeah, I absolutely meet people who I'm like, God, you're really attractive. And I really enjoy that. Like I I don't have any kind of I think I used to do a thing where I would do this kind of like, which I think is very gay. It was certainly very what I was like in my kind of when I earlier shame adjacent years of like, is that better? Is that person better? You know what I mean? And
Mm,
like trying to always seek the upgrade. Like, it's not like I would be able to verbal articulate that at the time, but I think that is what was driving it. It's like, can I make it better? Can I make it better? And it's like, do you really love I love, for me, like kind of building something with someone, and then other people coming into your life and being like, yeah, they're really attractive, but I don't want to do anything about it. And I don't, I don't sweat it, you know. And actually, I get a bit frustrated when people kind of silo you a bit as like, oh, you're just being heteronormative with your children. You know what I mean? And it's almost like, I don't know that that's true. And I think, and I've thought about it, you know. And so it's because in London, like a lot of people have really, everyone's opened up their relationship. Like it's very, like you go out and like everyone's getting off with everyone, you know, like all the couples turn up and they're all getting off with each other. I'm quite a kind of, I'm the sort of person who, if I wanted to do that, I know I would feel frustrated, and I don't. It's really interesting. I actually feel like, hmm, like I don't think I could cope with the admin, and that's not because I'm a busy mum. It's because I don't think I ever liked it in the first place. Do you know what I mean?
I do. I mean, I have a gay couple friend of mine, and they have to come out to me as monogamous, which I thought was really, really funny. It was it was like their scarlet letter, and for monogamy, I think that because everyone now is pretty much open, it's sort of expected to be open, and if you're not open, people assume that there's a certain flattening of the self. You know, there's
Yeah,
that you're denying yourself something. And I have to admit that I also have felt that way. I mean, just like to be really reductive to like be a horny gay guy who's
yeah,
in, cum prison a couple times a week, wanting to break free. And being with a partner, I've been with my partner for almost 11 years. Like, I love him to death, but the desire does change after that amount of time. It just does. I've
yeah,
said before, like with him, where it's like, I've never loved you more, and I've never wanted to fuck you less, which is very confusing. But like security is the enemy of desire. And
yeah.
so the two of them are always dueling it out in the ring, $1 million baby style. And
Mm,
that's why it's so confusing, I think, to feel so close to someone. It becomes familial. It just does. Amy Schumer has a really funny joke about like, fuck my husband. That's my family. He's my family. And as someone who watches a lot of incest porn on Family Dick, I'm like, it's not even the hot kind of family. It's not even the kind of camping trip gone wrong. You know what I mean? Or gone right.
yeah, it's interesting. I know because some coming out as being monogamous. Someone did it to me at a party the other week. They were like, this person was talking to me, and they were talking about. I don't know what they were talking about. I actually kind of wasn't really listening to the conversation. And then this guy was like, no, 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 he's monogamous. Like, and I think was also a bit like, he's got kids. You know what I mean? I was like, can you fuck off? Like, that's not, you've told yourself a story about why I am the way I am,
Right.
and it pissed me off. It was like, no.
Have the right person to destroy your marriage over. That's really what I'm sensing.
Yeah, it's the voice notes. So I haven't been taking voice notes. I wanted to read you another one.
Okay.
Because I want to know if this has happened to you. I fell for this dreamy Greek god torso on Grindr, but when I got to the door, the man was much older than the guy in the pic. Answered, and I went inside, and the curtains were fully drawn in the middle of the day. I asked to use the loo. That's the bathroom. I looked in the mirror and said to myself, "You don't have to do this," because you feel a weird pressure to follow through once you're there. Once you're there, which he clearly knows. So I made my excuses and left. 2 years later, I was walking down the same corridor thinking this feels really familiar. And when he answered the door, I said, "That is not you in the pictures." And he said, "Yes, it is." And I said, "Absolutely not. And you shouldn't do that." And off he went. Have you had that?
Oh my God. Yes. I mean, it's a gay rite of passage to get catfished. Absolutely.
Mm,
I mean,
mm,
when I was younger and it would happen to me, I would just be like, well, take off the glasses and get to work. You know what I mean? And so it's like, which is not great because then you leave. First of all, I mean, I've never understood the real psychology behind it because I'm like, you're putting photos that either were taken 10 years ago or just fully are not you. The second you open the door, you're starting this interaction by, okay? So you're already
yeah.
souring the vibe completely. And you're counting on this person to not have enough wherewithal or self-esteem or self-worth to get their way out of it. So it's like
Yeah.
it feels really manipulative and it feels dark. And I'm like,
It's
who wants
dark.
to fuck that way? Who wants to fuck that way? Who wants to fuck someone that literally just feels pressured and is too polite to say no? I mean, that is my
Mm,
worst nightmare. Do you know what I mean? It's someone to
mm,
fuck me out of obligation. Um,
mm,
so
mm.
I've never understood the feeling. I've never understood the impulse because it just feels like a lose-lose.
Have you had to say to anyone this ain't happening?
No, because it happened to me when I was younger, and
Uh,
that's when my clay hadn't dried, and I was very much like I felt bad. I didn't know what to say, and I feel like now because I've gotten so discerning with like profiles and voice memos, and I just truly feel like I have an accurate read of who someone actually is. Also, it's not rocket science at this point. The iPhone photo quality, like there's leaps and bounds of.
yes.
Oh my god! Actually, this happened to me literally yesterday, where I shared my private album with someone on Grinder, and the person goes, "Oh man, these photos look like they're from 2007," and I was like, what? And like I looked at the album because I actually really hadn't updated it in a while. And there were
Yeah.
photos from 2022, which was 3 years ago. I mean, I look the same. Like I wouldn't, but like the quality of the photo actually does look markedly different from
Yes.
2025. And I was like, wow, this is hilarious. I love that photos taken 3 years ago immediately like makes me feel like I'm catfishing someone or that I'm like from another time. I was like, I truly was like,
Grandpa.
I was spun out of control. I literally like sent him like a recent nude like 2 days, like from 2 days earlier, being like, "This is me. Like this is the same body. This is the whatever." Like so, catfishing to me has never even been like a foolproof thing because like you can really tell by a photo like when it was taken at this.
Yeah. Yes, that's so true. You can really tell now. Okay, so Ryan, what are you wearing? What are you wearing to hook up?
Oh my god, honey, I want to be comfortable. I'm not like
Yeah.
I'm not trying to stun. I'm not trying to put together a look. Like look, I want to. I'm probably wearing gym shorts that are easy access and easy to get off,
Yeah.
and like a tank. Like that's pretty much it. I mean, are you supposed to
Okay.
dress up for a hookup? Like, I mean, I don't. I'm not gonna like put on the row.
Yeah, well, that you've often got a good little cashmere number from the row on, Ryan, so
I'm
you never know.
that's not gonna end up on someone's like carpet in Virgil Village. Do you know what I mean? Like that's not where the row does not go to a hookup. Okay, the row is
Okay.
dignified. The row has never had sex. The row is sexless clothes. Okay, it's giving eunuch. Okay, so they're
Okay.
not going to go get fucked. No one's got fucking in the row. I'll tell you that right now.
Right. So okay, well then listeners are saying nice socks, sexy briefs, preferably something easy to remove, sexy underwear. Nothing, says one person.
One,
Something
how does that work? I'm
half,
confused.
half decent, clean and presentable. They're obviously hosting. Um, whatever makes me feel. A lot of people wearing jock straps. Jock straps. Where do you stand on a jock strap?
I personally love a jockstrap. They don't look good on me, and I don't know why. It must be like I mean, it
Mm,
could be body dysmorphia and me being an unreliable narrator like most gay men regarding how I look. But to me, I don't look good, which is crazy because I thought I would.
I bet you look great in one. Next episode. Now this is visual. We're going to do it. We're both going to do it in jock straps.
Oh my god, yes, absolutely. I love that. Give the viewers something to look forward to, or not, depending on where they stand with us.
They can vote. Okay, so give me your hookup red flags. Three hookup
Oh
red flags.
God, red flags. Okay, someone who can't do voice memos. That's immediately like it's like that's giving like three strikes you're out. Um
Interesting.
someone with photos where they look different in every single one. That happens more often than not. Oh,
Ooh, yeah.
also, this is really basic and like weird, but I cannot tell you how many profiles of Adonises are on Grinder and they say body type, they say average.
Oh, I know. It's
And I'm
ridiculous.
like, babe, you're deeply not average. And the fact that you put that makes me feel like you're not comfortable in your body or your skin or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? And it's like, it makes me feel bad and sad. I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
I know. It's like they're saying there's work to be done. You're like,
Exactly. I'm just average. And then they like post a photo of their abs and you're like, wait, I'm confused.
that means you're under, what is it, under 10% body fat or something. Listener red flags. Someone had someone propose on a first date.
Yeah, I would say
Never met
that's a normal thing to do.
Them not remembering that you've hooked up before.
That's really bad, and I think that happens. Like,
well, that happened to the person who was going down the hallway and then opened the door and it's the same person. Any kind of right-wing leanings, paraphernalia.
well,
yeah. A lot of people not tolerating mucky homes. So what do you do if you turn up and it's really messy? Well, not messy, dirty.
I mean, it's not great. It's not great. I'm not immediately like that's not like nature's Viagra for me. You know what I mean? It's seeing a messy home.
There's always that post that they put on, like, is it LA Gays or WeHo Gays or something, that Instagram account where it's like, it shows like a really messy room. It's like you're about to get the best dick of your life.
I mean,
have you seen that?
Because nothing says like I'm actually great in bed and like I actually don't need to have a clean room because I'm so hot that like I'm gonna fuck you so good that you're gonna forget that there's like actual carpet stains. Like, who cares? That is a lens of which to see that experience. I don't think that's always true.
Yeah, I think I like the sound of this soap guy. The people who turn up with wet hair and think they can get onto my fresh sheets. Who does that?
What? Who cares about wet hair on sheets?
Yeah.
As long as it's wet with water and not like cum.
Are people not being interested anymore when you say you want to use a condom?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm on like PrEP, I'm on Doxy. I mean, honey, all hands on deck. You know what I mean? So
What's Doxy?
Oh, it's like antibiotics. I only take it when I bottom, which actually isn't that often. But it's just like basically like just in case, like it's like to protect against other STDs that are not HIV. Some people take Doxy PrEP like all the time, and I do wonder how safe that is to take antibiotics every single day. I feel like they must stop working at a certain point. You must develop immunity. But I've been really lucky. I've only had one STD my entire life. Not too bad.
Okay, so safety. We asked about safety tips for a hookup. So I'll read you some listeners first. Hopefully, you have met them in person in a neutral location ahead. I screenshot their picture, phone number, and their addresses on maps and then delete it afterwards. Someone said they put the person's name and address or something under their pillow in their own home.
Wow.
And someone just wrote safety ? Someone else said let someone know. I'm going to read this long one, but then I'm going to ask you. My advice is specifically for hookups being arranged online. This is a trans guy saying this. So it's also not necessarily the right way to navigate the situation, but I have personally found it the easiest and most safe. If you have a personal information that is important to disclose for your safety or comfortability when hooking up, do so as soon as you feel comfortable to over text before meeting up in person. As a trans guy, I don't like to disclose my identity on my profile on apps, but I do like to disclose it in conversation via text before meeting up. I find this a safer and less vulnerable way to come out than waiting until being with someone I've just met. It's not about being a right time to disclose personal information or there being any fault of having led someone on, but an emotional and physical safety measure. What do you do?
Oh, well, I mean, I think, again, because in my mind, I've vetted them in the way of like, I mean, it's so stupid because the reality is, if you really think about it, we put ourselves in these crazy situations all the time in terms of like, order a stranger's house. So in my mind, I can sit here and be like, well, I voice memo them. That precludes them being a serial killer.
Your Honor. Yeah.
They give good voice memos, so they couldn't possibly murder me. You know what I mean? So I personally think like I'm trusting my intuition and like my street smarts and whatever, and having done this for a while and having a, I would say, an accurate read of things. That being said, like that doesn't protect me nearly as much as I think it does. I think you're always sort of rolling the dice. But I mean, like I'm meeting up with a guy out Grinder on Friday, and we're walking around, like we're taking a walk around the park first. You know what I mean? Like because I don't personally like love to go straight into someone's home. Like I've done that and I will
Okay,
do that, but I personally like to get drinks first or whatever. Like that's just
cool.
that's the demi in me. You know what can I say? I wouldn't say
And does
more about safety. Like that's not like me being like I don't want to get murdered, so I'm gonna because the truth is if someone wants to murder, they're gonna murder.
and well, also, I was talking to a queer woman about this, and she was like, "Well, the thing is, you know, we it's about danger, isn't it, and likelihood of danger, and trans women and trans people and are much more targeted
Oh
with
yeah.
violence. Not that it's the violence. What is it? You said it once actually. It's not the trauma Olympics, but that's the case, isn't it? So,
Oh, they're just
um,
a more vulnerable population of people. That makes total sense.
yeah, absolutely.
And there is a level of disclosure that needs to happen that may not happen with gay men. Do you know what I mean?
What do you mean?
In terms of disclosing being trans or whatever. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that. There's just that sort of yeah. That's an extra step that they have to experience.
Mm. But do you find being Queen of the Gays and well known that does some groundwork for you?
Groundwork in what way?
People knowing who you are, what you're about, knowing about your disability, like although you don't feel like you have to. People know, a lot of people know who you are.
Yeah, I mean, the disability part, yes. I think that, first of all, I don't assume that everyone I'm going over to have them rail me is a fan of my work. And if I did, I would need to be institutionalized. But there is this sort of nice feeling I have, whether someone knows me or not, because I've been so outspoken about my disability, because it's so out there. Um, I don't have that fear of disclosure. I really don't. And before, especially
Yeah.
now, before I slept around, I was very sexually inexperienced. I was with my boyfriend, but we were very close because I was too scared. And honestly, I was scared because of the disability part. I was scared of
Yeah.
having to, not sure of whether to put it on a profile, not wanting to feel like anyone was tricked, and da da da. I mean, it just felt
Mm.
very, 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 very overwhelming to me. And now I just feel like it doesn't matter. And if it does matter to someone, obviously that's its own vetting process.
Mm.
There is this sort of relief in knowing that it's just already out there, and whether someone knows me or not, like if we need to have the discussion, it rarely ever comes up, which must mean that everyone I do sleep with knows who I am, which is beautiful, or they don't care, which is probably the more realistic option. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and lovely and beautiful as well. Um, Ryan, anything else to say on hookups to send us off into your day, my night?
Um, don't be overwhelmed. Nothing is that deep. Just come as you are, and then come.
A haiku by Ryan O'Connell. Thank you. Now we do a thing where we do like community notice board where we shout out something at the end.
Okay.
So it can be a business, it can be a novel, it can be anything. Anything that you've read recently that you've liked or watched or etc.
Oh yes, 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 yes. Oh my God, I feel like I'm gonna get the title wrong. It's by Grant Grinder. He wrote this book called. It's not out yet. I got a galley. Not to brag. It's called. It's either called. Oh, this is so bad. It's either called So Old, So Young, or So Young, So Old.
Okay, and who's the author? Sorry.
Grant Grinder. He wrote People We Hate at the Wedding. He's a great author.
Great.
And it's about a group of friends navigating midlife crises, and it's fantastic. And it feels very like a documentary for my life.
Oh, good. Okay, and then So we'll look out for that, and maybe we'll put a link in the show notes if we can find
Yeah.
it. I just wanted to shout out this place called La Camionera, which is one of, I think, only 2 lesbian bars in the whole of London. And it's really interesting, and they're doing interesting things. It's in Hackney, your favorite place, Ryan.
You recommending a lesbian bar after coming out as monogamous with, I mean, you're not being a dad. I mean, forget it. Chris, are you trying to be the least edgy gay man in British?
Yes, I'm succeeding, which is good to know.
Yeah. You know, like, I don't hook up, okay? And I have kids, and here's my baby monitor. And guess what? Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and recommend a lesbian bar, okay?
Listeners, if you want to say anything about anything that we've spoken about today, please write to us, hello@homosapienspodcast.com, at homosapiens on Instagram. Follow Ryan if you don't already. What are you, at Ryan O'Connell?
Oh, God.
No.
I'm at an insane asylum. I am at Ryan Ocon, and you can see really great content, like me recommending a bar of soap that I got from a stranger after having sex with him in his apartment in Flatbush.
Great, thank you. And we'll do it in jockstraps next time.
Yeah, totally, absolutely. I just have to make sure I look good in it.
You're gonna look great.
Yeah, I just have to fix my body dysmorphia first.
Okay, well, we've got a couple of weeks. What are we gonna do? What are you gonna go and do now?
I am going to bravely write, which is what I do for a living. What are you gonna do?
I believe in you. I'm gonna go back into the house, and I'm gonna have a look around and think about eating, and then my husband's gonna come home, and that's as far as I've got.
That sounds really on brand for you.
God, you're such a cunt.
Wow, again, not beating the not edgy allegations. Here we go again. Jesus fucking, like, I'm gonna watch a cloud formation, and then I'm gonna spend time with my children.
I genuinely might go. I might go for a walk around the garden.
And then a cute gay guy is gonna slide in my DMs and want to hook up, and I'm gonna say, no, I'm closed. I'm a family man.
Yeah, me and William will probably go for a walk around the garden. That's what we do.
Okay, that sounds very wholesome. Not that with the W, not just HOLES.
Lovely. Ryan, this has been a pleasure. Thank you, and well done.
Thank you for having me.